Marriage and Family Therapy Overview, the Family Therapy History, Theory, and Practice text by Gladding. Chapter 2, Healthy and Dysfunctional Characteristics of Families. Family life is constantly changing. Considered functional and healthy in one era may seem to be terribly different, like the differences between millennial families and the baby boomers, 1950s families, the middle class, predominantly Caucasian families of the 50s. Regardless of form, the health of families varies over lifespans. The fact a family is healthy at one stage of life is not a guarantee that it will remain that way. Carlson Fulmer, Carter McGoldrick, 1992-1999. Family health requires consistent works for the members of the family as well as the family as a whole. Destabilizing events cause stress to family systems and react in different ways. Some systems respond by transforming rules, allowing newer, more functional behaviors, better boundaries. Healthy families reorganize their structure and relationships to accommodate new circumstances. Readjustment keeps the families from becoming chaotic and out of control or rigid. Looking at the family system and health. The theory, again, based on a biological model. Burton Leffey saw the essential phenomenon of life as entities called organisms. He defined an organism as a form of life composed of mutually dependent parts and processes standing in mutual interaction. Primarily motivated behaviorally by internal mechanisms. So very much a social scientist conceptualization that all living systems, including families, operate on a similar set of principles and are internally independent, constantly interacting, mutually affecting one another as they are in relationship to each other. Change or movement takes place. Families are affected for better or worse. The family well-being and ability to function is influenced by the health of all members. Families are continuously changing and reconstituting themselves. So that those that stay healthy are open and self-regulating, interactive within larger social system. The family stabilizes and changes by using negative feedback loops. If this isn't working, we're going to become out of control and dysfunctional unless we find a way to maintain stability. Using the negative feedback loops say, hey, maybe we need to make a change. So, qualities of healthy families. Health is an interactive process associated with positive relationships and outcomes. Family health involves ethical accountability, ability to adapt to change, set appropriate boundaries, develop relationships through open communication, promote responsibility, express confidence in themselves and their children, optimistic about their future. A number of aspects to distinguish healthy families from those who function less well. Commitment to the family and the individual, appreciation for each other, willingness to spend time together, effective communication patterns, high degree of religious spiritual orientation, ability to deal with crises in positive manners, encouragement of individuals, clear roles. Commitment. Strong families. Members are devoted not only to the welfare of the family, but the growth of each member. Couples who have ambivalence toward that, difficulty staying in marriages, sometimes have infidelity, according to Pittman, 1991. The commitment that family members have toward one another is strengthened when they verbally express appreciation to build self-esteem by mutual love, respect, and compliments. Willingness to spend time together without bickering, arguing, pouting, bullying. Quality interaction that develops over time. Meal times, graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, holidays, funerals, weddings, to develop as a cohesive unit. Effective communication patterns concerned with the delivery and reception of verbal, nonverbal information between family members, including skills in exchanging patterns of information within the family. Messages are sent and received in a sensitive, caring manner, according to Brock and Bernard, 1999. Optimal family communication situations. High volume, including seeking and sharing patterns, clear, congruent messages, a wide range of topics, and openness to discussion. If there's conflict, it is worked out through problem solving. Religious spiritual orientation. The vast majority of families typically have some type of sense of religious or spiritual orientation, despite the religious or spiritual choice. Families often deal as a group with religious spiritual events during deaths, births, marriages. Ability to deal with crisis in positive manners. An expected event is one that's predictable and is going to occur, like launching from home to get married. Also non-events, things that don't happen the way that families had perceived them to be. Met and unmet expectations. Encouragement of individuals. Encouraging school-age children that engage in the educational process. Adolescents that cope with physical change in peer groups. Young adults that move from their parents' home to their own homes with very clear roles, clear, appropriate, suitably allocated, mutually agreed on, developmentally appropriate, integrated, and enacted, based on factors of age, culture, and tradition, making roles interchangeable and flexible. Growth-producing structure and developmental patterns. Without intergenerational coalitions, without conflictual triangles between arguing spouses. The process takes place to maintain family stability through homeostasis, to resist change and keep things as they are, connected with the formation and display of symptoms. Families that are too tight or too loosely organized tend to have identified family members who bring the family into treatment. Family life stressors. Stress is a part of everyday life. Vertical stressors bring past and present issues to bear reciprocally. Family attitudes, expectations, secrets, and legacies. Horizontal stressors relate to the present. They're developmental and unfolding. There is a chart, a graphic on page 38 that explains these two in a visual way. Family life stressors are systemic and in line with how most family therapists view families, but families are unique in their timing of transitional events. Expected life stressors, developmental, age and life-related, situational, interpersonal things that happen, and how families deal with economics, finances, children's behavior, insufficient couple times, communicating with children, insufficient personal time, insufficient family time, and how those deficiencies are remediated. Unexpected life stressors, things that happen beyond our control that affect the health, well-being, and happiness of the family as a whole. Looking at family development and environmental fit based on poverty. Sometimes the struggle goes past what the family is able to function with. Happenstance and chance. A child born with a disability, an unexpected chronic illness, a death. Physical or psychological trauma, earthquakes, hurricanes, fires, violent crime, physical abuse. Trauma can upset the family's organizational ability and adaptability. Success and failure, the inability to meet family standards and expectations. Family structure and functionality, the roles family members enact make a difference in regard to family health. Organized cohesiveness, sex role, traditionalism, role flexibility, shared roles correlated around organized cohesiveness, differentiated sharing are correlated. 3 common family organizational forms are symmetry, complementarity, centripetal, centrifugal, cohesive, and adaptive. Symmetrical families. Each person tries to be competent in doing necessary needed tasks. Quite often there are competitiveness in that relationship. Complementary relationships are much more rigid, much less equal. As a symmetrical relationship has equality, this one is both dominant or submissive, logical or emotional, very much a traditional 1950s relationship. It's best if they can practice a parallel relationship with complementary and symmetrical exchanges occurring appropriately. Centripetal families directed toward center, move toward family closeness. Out of control, those children fail to launch. Centrifugal directed away from the center, out of control, the children launch way too soon. Beaver's model to assess this aspect of family interaction. Families with centripetal style are members who view their relationships satisfactions coming from inside the family, too tightly held, and socially responsible, egocentric. Families with centrifugal styles are tendencies to expel members and view relationship satisfactions from coming outside the home. Rejection, neglect. Cohesion and adaptability. Cohesion, emotional bonding, family adaptability, the ability to be flexible and change. The circumplex model, the Beavers model. The circumplex model has 4 levels, from low to high adaptability. These models are there for you on page 44 and 45. The categories can be characterized as rigid, structured, flexible, or chaotic. Coping strategies of families. Ability to identify the stressor. To view the situation as a family problem versus the problem of one member. Solution-oriented rather than blame-oriented. Tolerance. Clear expression of commitment and affection. Open, clear communication. Evidence of family cohesion. Evidence of considerable role flexibility. Appropriate utilization of resources inside, outside of the family, and lack of physical violence and lack of substance abuse. Looking at first order chain, Watzlawick and Weakland, 1974, characterized by superficial nature, just ameliorating the external, changing for the sake of changing. Second order change or meta change is the change of the change. It's intrapsychic, it's internal, and it's long-standing change. Coping strategies in well-functioning families include recognizing stress may be positive and lead to change. Stress is usually temporary. Focusing on working together to find solutions, realizing stress is a normal part of life, changing the rules to deal with stress, and celebrating victories over events that would lead to stress. Implication of health in working with families. On page 48, looking at the type of information. And on page 49 is an effort to diagnose families, pathological interpersonal patterns, healing interpersonal patterns, transforming interpersonal patterns, slips, cutting oneself off physically or psychologically, deteriorating interpersonal patterns, and wellness. And they give a model there. Looking at strengthening families through enrichment, the idea of marriage and enrichment is based on the concept that couples and families stay healthy and get healthier by actively participating in connection with other couples and not just being a model unto themselves. Learning from each other, learning from other couples, having enrichment towards self-help and couple help. Identifying areas of closeness and conflict. The summary and conclusion: multiple aspects of family health, looking at family structure, and coping strategies of families. Page 52 through 53 looks at healthy and dysfunctional characteristics of family from family systems and helps, qualities of healthy families, family life stressors, family structure and functionality, coping strategies, implications of working with families, and strengthening families through enrichment with other people. So that leads us to the end of chapter 2. Thank you.